So, welcome everybody. Today is June 7th, 2022. This is the Hannah City Village Council meeting. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. We have our nice blue flag in the corner.
Oh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Recognition of guests. We have no guests. Hey, that's nice.
Do we need to count Eric as a guest?
Well, he's the next person on the agenda.
I didn't know how to write it.
I guess you could put him as a guest.
Okay.
And then he would no longer be a guest.
Okay.
So I gotta remember how to do this.
Bill, what do we have to do to appoint?
Upon my recommendation, I asked the board for approval to appoint Eric Miller as trustee.
Perfect.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Sidak.
And what seat will he be filling?
It would be a 2-year term.
We created a new responsibility called admins because we don't have anybody today that helps with HR, IT, some of the records retention, coding, all that kind of stuff. So he's going to work with that.
All right.
Normally it'd be a 2-year term, but really it's going to be a 1-year term until the next election cycle. Then it'll be a 2-year term to get on to the proper election cycle.
So do we vote?
Yeah, I'll have to. So I have a motion by Weaver, second by Sidak. Actually, do I have to roll call that, Bill, or can I just do?
Please roll call.
Okay. So first would be Pearson.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Sidak.
Yes.
Do I have to vote on that, or can I even vote on
I
that?
think you need to.
We're down one trustee.
We're down one.
You got 4, right?
No,
We got three.
3 trustees.
3. Oh shoot, yeah, Brian, you're not a trustee. So yeah, Tony, please vote. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So that carries. Now, Eric, you'll stand and be sworn at by the village clerk.
I shall swear at you. In the center, sir.
I got to get you on camera there.
I know, or better shirt. Or just stand right here.
Well, no, you can stand up here. That's fine. I just have to read this. And raise your right hand. I, Eric Miller,
I, Eric Miller,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of trustee
the duties of the office of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay, and I'll have you fill this out after.
Well, welcome aboard, Eric. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
It's all new to me, so
Probably what I'll do is sometime this week I'll contact you and we'll see if we can't find a time when you and I'll sit down and I'll kind of walk through things with you. Yeah.
Everybody should have a copy of the previous May 17th meeting minutes. Any corrections or changes need to be made? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Pearson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Treasury report. Ms. Cassandra?
Nothing really of interest. All normal bills. The totals page looks a little different because I had to add on to it, but it's all the same info.
Make a motion, we accept the treasury report and pay all outstanding bills.
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Pearson. I think you're slacking.
He's over there.
So we'll roll call that. Weaver,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Can't remember. I don't know. Got it in my head of where everybody's at. So,
I know. Nice food. That's cool.
Mr. Lott, that brings us up to you, Brandon.
Good evening. Pretty quiet on my front. Just a couple of quick reports. We're working, Cassandra, I assume we're working with you to let the MFT year-end stuff to send in to IDOT. Get Joe's email.
Yep, I got all those sent off to him this afternoon.
Awesome. So we'll close out last year's program with IDOT and make sure they're happy campers. And then the only other comment I would have is, Brian, I think he'll pass that on. I think he's working with Roger. It sounds like mid to late July for the seal coating.
Yeah, we're still waiting to get a quote from Porter Brothers on the other street. They did do the spray patching yesterday and today, so that's done. So we're ready whenever Porter Brothers is.
Sounds like it. So those are the only two things that I have. If anybody had any questions, I'm happy to stick around. If there are really further questions as the meeting progresses, we need to.
Yeah, Brand, I got to stay through Ryan's report because Jim's done some work on that map, and we want to talk about that a little bit.
Oh, sure. No, I look forward to it. All right. That's all I have.
Thank you, Brandon. Mr. Connor?
The only thing I worked on this week, you have in front of you, which is the proposed change to how we approve a minor subdivision and how we define it as well. And that's all I have, unless there's questions.
Thank you at this time. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Brian, administrative report.
So you've got a highlight sheet in your packet. Just, I don't know if I'm going to speak to all of these things. I'll just go through them quickly. That we did start the audit on Monday, so the auditors have been here. Nothing earth-shattering to report at this time. Things have been going really well through the first 2 days. They have a couple of minor things that they'll put into their report and we can talk about later. But like I said, so far everything seems to be going really well. The new water rate bills went out, so they've been out for a few days. We've not gotten any noise that we've heard of. So
My neighbor said something, but that was about it.
Yeah, people are coming in paying their bills, so that's good. Hopefully you saw the electric aggregation update communication that we put on the website and on Hannah City Happenings and so forth. We're still working with the brokers, so if anything changes, we'll make sure to let everybody know. Just an update on the coffee can TIF and BDD agreement. So I met this week, Cassandra and I met with Gwen from the company that helps us with the TIF and BDD, and then also the accountant that is doing the coffee cans books to make sure that we're all on the same page and doing everything right. If you remember, what that agreement says is that they get a property tax, sales tax, and BDD tax break up to $55,000. So the first $55,000 in any of those taxes goes back to them. And then after that, it's a 50-50 split until they hit the cap. And once they hit the cap, then we get 100% of it from that point forward. And so we had a discussion. Their 1 year on the agreement will be up in the October-November timeframe. If we kind of look at where things are right now, they'll get a reimbursement from the village for somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000, which will be the aggregate of those three tax things. And I asked the lady to build a projection of, okay, so how long will it take till their current revenue and so forth. And I think it was a 10 or 11 year estimate. Obviously, if their sales volume goes up and they do better, then we'll pay more back quicker, and we'll get to a place where we hit the 55 number better, quicker, and then we start to get half the money back and so forth. Is this confusing to you?
No, but it was property, was it sales
Sales and then BDD, so there's the 1%.
and TIF or no?
Well, that's property, so the
Okay.
TIF, the property is TIF. Yeah.
Okay.
So, when I built we don't have the money in TIF yet, so we'll probably have to pay it out of BDD and transfer it over. But I put in the BDD budget $30,000 for projects, and I was assuming that this would be in there. I didn't know how much it would be at the time, but so that of that 30,000, and we'll have surplus in BDD anyway. But we should be fine paying it out of there, and it'll come in the fall timeframe. Any questions on that? I'm going to pass these around real quick. Just I'll send one each way. So one of the things that the team has been working on is how do we work and have a better relationship with the community, especially as it relates to violations or when people aren't doing the things that they need to do and so forth. And so we came up with this thing called, it's a friendly reminder card from the village of Hannah City. Tracy went back and looked at the top, I think, 6 things that people, that we normally have to remind people to do, like their grass is too long, their materials are being burned but not in a container, they didn't come in for a permit, they got an inoperable vehicle and so forth. So all the staff have these, the guys in the trucks have these, and basically the way the process works, if they see somebody whose grass is too long, they mark it, throw it in the person's mailbox as a friendly reminder to do something.
Can't do that.
Huh?
You can't throw them in there.
Oh, we can't?
I think he put it on in the front door.
They can put it on the front door.
Okay, so, well, wherever, put it on the front door. I'll make sure that they do that. They come back and they tell Tracy, or they call Tracy and say, this address, this is what I did. She puts it in a spreadsheet, follows it, and then that way, if it doesn't get corrected in a period of time, then we send them the meaner letter that says, please correct this. If you don't in X amount of days, then you'll have to pay your fine. So it's just a way to, and that's more work for Tracy. So if we just do the reminder card and people do it, then it's cutting down on the work we do. It's nicer for the resident and so forth. So I thought that was pretty cool that the guys came up with that. The water meters, we bought 425 water meters to put in. Jim's putting those in. It's going slow. We're probably about 15% in right now. The reason it's going slow is he said a lot of people have gone back to work, and so a lot of people are home to get into the house and so forth. Plus, just this is a busy time of year, so Jim's been busy. But we talked about MFT. I don't need to go over that again. It is permit season, so we're starting to get more of those. I have been meeting with various people with the Park District and looking for opportunities for synergy there to see if there's ways where we can partner and help them a little bit. The guys, where it kind of started is the guys were going by one day and their grass was really long, and so they just mowed it for them. And then David Keithley contacted me and said thank you, and I said, well, is there more we can help with? And so it just began a dialogue. So where it goes, I don't know, but we're just having some discussions with them. A meeting with a guy from the USDA who does low interest rate loans for rural communities for small businesses and so forth this Thursday to see if there's anything there that we can apply or promote for people in the area. So part of the economic development thing. And then Cassandra and I are meeting with the Greater Peoria Economic Development Council, and we may meet with Tri-County later, but Cassandra's kind of taken on the grant writing or the grant research, process, so I want to get her connected with those resources to see if we can't find funds. So that's kind of everything that's going on.
On that note, do you get the emails from, okay, I just want to make sure because I get them too.
I think we all get that.
Okay.
Oh, and then as far as financials, we're doing the audit this week, close the first month of the fiscal year next week.
Yes.
So the next meeting we should have the under the new structure, the first month of the new fiscal year for you to look at. So excited to get that into the new format.
And that'll be under the new checking account format and everything.
All that
Good.
should be
Many fewer accounts.
Yes,
Yeah.
many fewer accounts.
Yep. That's it. Thank you.
It?
That's it.
Planning to talk for at least another 45 minutes.
No, Ryan's got to be on vacation.
No, he doesn't.
I'm the one that's going to talk the most from.
Well, thank you, Brian.
I heard he's going to a Foghat concert.
That's Rumble.
That's what I've been listening to when I work out recently.
Nice. Caleb's not here. I don't think we have anything on finance. Yeah.
Please some planning.
I will cover, we don't have the incident report, but I will cover the other piece. So it says discussion and possible action on ordinance delegating planning commission and council powers for approval of minor subdivisions. And that's the document that Bill was talking about earlier. So in our code already, we've got a designation between minor and major subdivisions. And the way it's set up today is if somebody comes in, which we've got a couple that are coming, they have a farm and they want to subdivide it into 2 or 3 plats, and that's treated like the developer that's going to come in and put in 50 homes or whatever. So it has to go to planning, and there's a lot more criteria that are required for that to be approved. What Caleb said is in a lot of places what he sees is they have a different criteria for the minor subdivisions, and he gave those to Bill. Bill wrote them up, and Bill, if you want to talk through them, you can in a minute. And then basically it won't have to go to planning commission. It can be Caleb, the planning commissioner, can review it, and I can, and the mayor can, and then the mayor can just approve it without it having to go through the whole planning commission. Bill, anything to add there? Did I miss anything?
No, other than, maybe we reduced the number of houses that you can have and have it still be a minor subdivision. So we're at a maximum of 3 now instead of 6. So that'd be the only thing I would add is that, we know it's a minor subdivision if they're going to put 3 houses or less on it.
And so, like I said, the majority of them that are coming in like this, there's already a house on the farm. There's 5 or 6 acres. They're cutting off a piece of it, and the kids putting another house on there. So they're going from 1 house to 2. So it was Caleb's idea. He gave all the information to Bill, and that's how we got here. So that's what's in front of you. So we would need to consider that and vote on it if you guys are interested.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance amending the authority of corporate officers to approve the plats of minor subdivisions.
Second. I have a motion by Pearson. Second by Sidak. And I have a question. And you said properties no more than 3, Bill, or houses no more than 3? Keep
Yes.
it minor?
Yes.
Is that 3 in total? So if there's already 1 and they're adding 3 more, that would be a major, or that would just still be a minor?
I think it's new developments, if I remember, Bill.
Yeah, that's my reading of it is that if you're going to put 3 on there, again, this was to go away from, like Ryan said, the 50 house subdivision where they're planning to build 50. So this one, you can get that minor approval, planning to build only 3,
Okay.
which you see every once in a while,
Thank you, Bill.
certainly.
Any further discussion? This will be ordinance 22-06-01. And so I'll roll call it. Miller? Here?
Yes.
You're good.
Sidak?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Bill, in terms of filing, that's just us filing it ourselves and updating it with American Legal. There's nothing else that has to be done with that.
That is correct, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Pearson, sanitary?
Yes, sir. I have the strategic long-range plan for the sewers. Got it all mapped out here, and Jim has looked over it, approved it with a couple things that he has added for proposed new linings in a few places. It's got it all nifty and color coded and everything. But the next step would be passing this off to Brandon to take a look at, make sure everything's kosher there, and start the financial aspect of it, getting all that planned out.
Brandon, what's the best way to get it to you? He's basically taken a brown marker and kind of updated the stuff. He basically, what he told me was if we did everything in brown, the sewers would be where he wanted them. Given all the work that we've already done, if we did everything in brown. Now, the big question is how much does it cost us to do everything he's put in brown? That'll be the next step. And then how do we find the funding to do it? I guess the question is, I'm thinking is the first step is to get you this map. And we can talk about, you can tell me how the best way to do that is. Have you update it with, your technology so it's not marker drawn. And then we would start looking at estimating prices to do that. And then dividing it into a multi-year plan if necessary. I'll shut up. You talk.
No, exactly. I think you're dead on. We want to keep it short and sweet and simple. You can either throw it in the mail. I'm always out and about. Not tomorrow, but I could come swing by Friday. If you want to throw it in the mail, I'd probably get it Friday either way. But I'm happy to swing by on Friday because I'll be out and about. What I would do is make a copy and send you back the original. And then, yeah, exactly that. Kind of try to put it into a very short, very simple, just like we did with the road, 2-page plan for review and perhaps adoption to kind of govern your thinking for the next short and medium term, if you will.
I think we've only got $80,000 or $90,000 in the savings account for sewer, so I'm guessing we're going to be woefully short of the money required to do everything he needs. But at least we can start building a plan and looking at how we're capitalizing or how we're setting capital aside, and maybe make adjustments if we need to.
Agreed. I would take a quick look at it, get you guys something here. I don't want to get too far, in front of anybody without making sure we're on the same page. But yeah, I'd like to see what he's put together. Throw some numbers to it. Like I said, short, sweet, simple summary, and see where we go.
I suppose the other option is to look at another low interest loan, like we did with the first one, another IEPA loan. But anyway, we can talk about that. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we could. When we met a month or more ago, it didn't sound like if you had a money falling out of the sky that sewers would be where it would go. It sounded more like water was more of interest to him. But yeah, exactly. I think what you do is you put together the wants and needs and resources, and then see if borrowing makes any sense. Especially in light of some of the work that Cassandra's doing with grants. If you're working with the USDA, they have grants. In 20 years ago, we never identified that as a viable option. But if you see a $250,000 project that really needs to be done, that might become attractive versus spending the 70 or 80 grand a year that you might be able to squirrel away for other resources. So I agree. Let's take a look at what he's put together and work to put together a short, simple plan like we did with the roads.
Okay. Sounds like Cassandra's gonna throw it in the mail to you tomorrow, so that way you don't need to stop by.
Perfect. All right. I look forward to it, and let Jim know. I'll get the original right back to him. I know he's probably put a lot of work into it. I want to make sure he's got it.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is all for sewer.
Okay, next up, Mr. Pearson, water.
Yes, sir. Water. We have some information that should have been relayed at the last meeting. Sorry.
You're fine.
So we'll do that now. Total of 4 escrow checks for $575 even.
Were those done on different periods, or is that a total for everybody?
That is, so it's dated May 17th.
Let me see that real quick.
Do you have a second number sheet or just that?
We'll need to vote on that because it's over the $500. Actually, let me see it real quick.
Well, each one is not over. They're all individual.
There are 4 different ones.
They are individual, so. I was thinking total amount.
4 shutoffs for $2,877.36. 0 level pay. 4 foreclosures at $511.93. And approximate gallons sold 2,033,782.
And that's all for the May 17th.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll slap Tracy later.
Oh, please don't. I don't want to see you hurt.
I was gonna say, she might hit back.
She would. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Mr. Weaver, building and grounds,
Nothing to report.
streets and alleys, Mr. Weaver.
Nothing to report.
Economic development, Mr. Sidak.
Since our last meeting, which was over 2 weeks ago, the library is still not coming back to me. I'll see about reaching out to them again. And then Brian reached out with some recommendations for possible at-large members. Did you want me to contact them?
I've already you could reach out to, oh gosh, Hubengarner, what's her first name?
Deanna.
Yeah. I thought she might be willing to do it, and I've already reached out to Joanne Passmore, so I'm waiting to hear back there.
Okay. Other than that, nothing else to report.
Every so often we have to go over our executive sessions act. So I say
Minutes.
executive session minutes. And of course, we do not talk about those openly. So at this time, we will go in. I would take a motion to go into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Weaver. Second by Pearson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
I think technically, it's kind of small council, clerk sitting right there. It has to be a roll call vote.
Okay.
Go into exec.
Okay. We'll roll call it. So I'll start with Sidak.
Yes.
Do I have to vote on that then too?
No, sir.
Okay. Pearson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Brandon.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. Bill, I'm going to end the session and then start a new one, and then you can log back in.
Sounds good.